Okay, here we go.
I'm gonna break down Love's Labor's Lost for you today.
Love's Labor's Lost, a problem play. And it's a comedy, sort of, and it's a tragedy, sort of. How is that possible? Let me tell you.
A big plot point that synergizes all the different pieces of this story is that there is an oath in this kingdom, Navarre, where the story takes place.
There's these guys, and they're chilling in Navarre, and one of them is king, and he's like, dudes, we are not smart enough. We gotta be way smarter than we are.
All the men in the kingdom sign this oath. This oath is that they will study for 3 years.
Be like, so smart.
There's nothing really specific that they need to study.
We're just gonna read and get super studious.
King Ferdinand has decided that in order for everybody to do the best studying possible, there are a couple things they need to agree to in order to be able to focus.
The king's like,
We're not gonna eat.
oh no, you.
1 meal a day and fast 1 day a week.
We're not gonna sleep.
They're not allowed to be sleepy. Stay up as much as possible so you can study as much as possible.
We're not gonna talk to ladies.
Whatever.
You're not allowed to put yourself in a position where you might fall in love with someone.
Ladies, man, they're the bomb.
In fact, if a lady is in our court, we'll chop her tongue off.
What?
So the guys are like,
I will not love anyone.
that sounds awesome.
Club is for the birds, am I right? So they sign this oath to like not see ladies for 3 years.
Except for one guy, Barone, who's like, no? And the king's like, oh, actually, that sucks because you already agreed to do this.
Dudes, that's dumb. There's also like this court drama going on.
Okay, so court drama is a theme. And essentially the way court drama works is like people write letters and they like say silly things and they make jokes and show off how witty they are. And it's fun. That's how they entertain themselves. That and hunting.
Underneath the umbrella of this oath are 2 separate love plot lines. Both plot lines take place simultaneously throughout the show and at the end sort of blur together.
Shakespeare.
Okay. Main plot line, boy meets girl. The story is about all these men and their attempts to woo these women. King Ferdinand, he's in charge of Navarre, and his buddies. One of King Ferdinand's friends, Barone, he has his own sort of little love story. We can't do every single love story. This will be the longest video in existence. King and friends swear to oath. King and friends find out princess and friends are actually on their way for a scheduled meeting that the king just so happened to forget about.
The Princess of France is like, hi, I'm here to talk about my dad who's dying. And the king's like, oh man, yeah, I totally forgot about that. The Princess of France was like coming to my house.
And the king's like, oh shoot. Guys, what do I do? And the guys are like, well,
Oh, we can't do this.
I guess that's over with. And they're like, well, no, they'll just sleep outside.
King Ferdinand and friends, Barone, meet princess and friends.
So the princess shows up.
Princess is important. Rosaline is important.
Her little court friend, Boyer, who's the guy of the girl group. So King shows up and he's like,
Oh, we kind of swore an oath that we'd have to cut your tongues off, so you gotta stay out here in the fields.
you're sleeping outside, but you're also sleeping in my heart.
And they're like, dude, because like, who would want to sleep in a field?
The princess says, can I have that land back that my dad let you borrow? And the king's like, wait, whoa, time out. I'm not giving you that land back unless you give me money that you owe me.
So he's sort of being a jerk about it.
And the princess is like, I don't owe you any money. I'm pretty sure I actually gave you that money, and don't call my dad a liar.
The dudes in the court see one of the ladies that the princess brings,
Fall instantly in love.
and they're just like, oh wow, I know I swore an oath not to like be in love, but I'm getting a little hot and bothered right now.
So King and friends are like, what are we gonna do? They're thinking to themselves. They don't want to just straight up ask the ladies to come in and hang out, because then they're worried the ladies are gonna think that they're lame because they broke their oath and they're not gonna be able to trust them, and yada, 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 yada. So their first attempt, they kind of try to dance around the oath.
Even though the guys promised they wouldn't be in love, they all write a love letter to the lady that they like the best.
That's not technically breaking the oath because the ladies aren't allowed in the court. The oath says nothing about men writing letters to ladies. Doesn't work. This attempt does get all the guys into trouble because writing their letters, they're also reciting them out loud in public in a place where everybody can hear if they're hiding in a bush, which just so happens is what's happening.
Okay, so Barone reads his letter, hides in a bush because who should enter but the king with his letter, which he reads aloud, and then hides in a bush. Longueville reads his letter, hides in a bush. Dumaine reads his letter, doesn't hide in a bush. There's like a Scooby-Doo moment of, aha, we've caught you now. Ferdinand and Longueville are like, Dumaine, ooh. Dumaine's like, Longueville, and Ferdinand's like, haha, both of you, you. So Barone pops out and he's like, but actually,
Blowing up the other guy's spots.
you're all stupid. I'm so cool. Ugh, gosh, that Barone.
How did the other lords find Barone out?
Meanwhile,
Obviously, other love hijinks will ensue.
The second plot line,
Shakespeare's B-plots.
love triangle side story. 3 important characters here. You've got
Don Adriano de Armado. A man named Costard,
he's the one guy.
both of them,
in love,
In love, definitely.
are both in love with the same woman.
Jacquinetta.
She's joyful, she's playful, she's flirty, she's fun. Jacquinetta's real cool.
When Don Adriano sees Costard talking to Jacquinetta, Don Adriano tattles. Costard got in trouble. King Ferdinand sentenced Costard to be under the watch of Don Adriano. Don Adriano is taking full advantage of this. Don Adriano asks Costard to ask the girl they both like out for him. Costard does not only have Don Adriano's love letter to deliver to Jacquinetta,
Barone, one of the king's men, writes a letter to Rosaline, one of the queen's ladies. Both of these letters are given to Costard.
so now Costard has 2 love letters. He's got one to Jacquinetta.
Don Adriano, Jacquinetta, Costard.
He's got one to Rosaline. Costard accidentally
He mixes up the love letters.
He does.
Weird.
Obviously, he gives Jacquinetta's letter to Rosaline and Rosaline's letter to Jacquinetta. Rosaline decides to have Boyer read the letter out loud, and Boyer goes, hold up, this is not for Rosaline. It's actually for Jacquinetta. And they're like, that's fine, we'll read it anyway. Meanwhile, Jacquinetta's like, read this for me. People are like, hey, hold on, give it to the king. This is saucy. So Jacquinetta's like, great, thanks.
they go and confront Barone about it.
Barone tried to tear it up, but everyone else saw it.
Barone's got to confess.
He's like, no, oh, we're all in love. In love, you know? What are we gonna do?
And they're all like, well, since we're all in love, our oaths, we totally broke them. It's fine. Let's go have some fun with the ladies. I'm really jumping ahead here. Okay, God.
Back to main love plot.
Okay, so
Barone gets found out. All the guys now know that the other guys sent love letters to the ladies, and they're like, all right, well, we're buds. Let's team up and let's do what we can to hang out with the ladies, but not break our oath. Well, not let them know that we are breaking the oath.
And
as one does,
basically, at that point,
they decide
they decide that the best course of action is to dress up like Russians. Because
my assumption is,
you know, so anyway, they dress up like Russians.
Meanwhile, sleeping in a bush nearby, Boyer.
He was spying on the dudes, saw them getting dressed up like Russians, and was like,
This is great. I'm gonna go tell the princess. Meanwhile, the ladies are like, look at this jewel. Also, this letter. Look at how stupid this guy is. Obviously, they're gonna make fun of these guys. Anyway, so they're making fun of the guys. Boyer rolls up and he's like, hey, I have something I need to tell you. There's clearly a time rush, but I'm just really living in this story, so let me stretch it as long as possible for you. And meanwhile, the girls are like, they're disguised? What are they disguised like? And he's like, well, they are, let me tell you, Russians. And the girls are like, oh no, why? Also, what do we do?
ladies play a game. Ladies disguise themselves as each other so the guys don't know who they're talking to trick the guys into talking to the wrong lady so that they can laugh to themselves about how funny all of this is.
The ladies are prepared, unmasked, in more than one way. Very masked.
Having a blast, laughing their butts off.
The men have no chance.
Moral of the story is the ladies are like way more clever than the dudes.
So they show up. Ladies know what's going on.
And they go and they try to put on a little show with their accents and their
Beards.
got beards on, and they're trying to impress the ladies.
They go, shiny things, naked hands, and then they're all sweaty in their beards.
It doesn't work. The ladies give the guys a really hard time.
The ladies, like, they see right through it. They're obviously just the lords with beards on, talking in accents they can't even do right.
2 failed attempts now. Their disguise plan doesn't work. They're like, all right, you know what? We already know we broke our oath. At this point, I think the best plan of action is to just go ask the ladies to come hang out. 3rd attempt,
Sweep the ladies off their feet.
ask ladies to just, can you come hang out with us in the court? We want to spend some time with you.
So after the whole Russian thing goes really south, the guys come back and they're like, oh, hey, we're here to just chat you up.
Ladies are now all dressed as themselves, so now the guys can tell who's who.
So they're like, yeah, those Russians were kind of lame, huh? And the guys were like, what? Wait, what are you even talking about?
That sounds like it might have been really interesting, actually.
No, Russians are...
And the ladies are like, no, actually, they were super stupid. And you.
I know it was you.
The guys, like, all have breakdowns.
Oh, you saw through our ruse.
And then admit it, and they're like, but that's cool, right?
Weird. And the girls are like,
what? And who should show up? But these people who are writing a play.
Put a pin in that real quick. This is where the 2 stories kind of start to mesh together.
Court drama. So good.
and meanwhile, while this is all going on, there's a bunch of people who are trying to put on a play. It's sort of about love and sort of about, like, Greek epics.
And the guys are like, this is gonna be worse than our japes, and therefore, yes.
King and friends take this as an opportunity to try attempt number 4, which is to mock other men so that the ladies think that the king and friends are cool.
And the ladies are like, okay, fine. So they try to enjoy the show, but who should ruin it but these dudes who just...
The lords are just, like, total jerks.
They won't be quiet, these rude men in theaters talking during a performance.
They could at least sit there and be polite and watch.
2 of the performers in the play just so happen to be our side love plot characters, Don Adriano and Custard.
They're putting on a show for the higher lords and ladies of the court.
Do I even say the thing about Custard coming in? And might as well. Custard comes in while Don Adriano is doing his big part and points the finger at him and essentially tells everybody that Jacquinetta is pregnant and it's because of him. And Don Adriano is embarrassed because this is big news to be kind of shared out in public. Him and Custard almost fight. All right, so this is just one story from here to the end of the show now. Oh, where do I go back to? Custard and Don Adriano are just about to get into a fight. There's a lot going on, a lot of commotion, and then
It all went wrong.
in enters someone from the Princess of France's kingdom.
Mercad. He shows up and he says, Princess, I've got some really bad news for you. And the princess goes, I know what this bad news is. I am the Princess of France, and I will take it with grace.
King of France straight up died.
And the men go, but this was fun, right?
I know your dad died, but I love you. You should stay with me. It would be great.
And the ladies go, yeah, it was great. We had a good time with the court drama with you, but we really have to go now. And the guys go, before you do, will you marry me?
And the girls are like, no, this is just not gonna work. But instead of, like, running away forever,
They draw maybe and say, if you do this, then we'll talk about it. And proceed to give these guys conditions. It's awesome.
they say, if all you dudes can just wait like a year and do these specific tasks for us, maybe we'll get married. Maybe.
They leave, there's a poem, and then it's over.